Hello and welcome to part 3 of curves of the curve menu. We are going over the menu items and we are in the section under curves, which should be your first menu item in the matrix 3.4. And we have gone over quite a few of them. We ended up at Jolly. And for now, I'm going to skip over add profile to library. We will go through that at a later date. I want to cover a lot of the basics. There are some features that I will not go over at this point because they're more in depth, and there's some new items in the Matrix Gold that I actually have never used, and I have been designing for over 12 years and have never had the occasion to use them. Now, it doesn't mean that you never will. We will go over those things eventually. So we are going to start with a basic line. I am up here at the top menu where it says curve, and you might have to scroll over until you get to the line. You'll notice that if you hover over that, it will tell you if you left click, you'll get line. There we go. And if you right click, you'll get line on both sides. So when we do this, we're going to right click and we are going to practice with our O snaps on. The O snaps are toggled on with the little green arrow, and we're going to find the center by hovering over that, and it snaps to our midpoint. And we're going to pull this out, and you'll see, because we right clicked, it actually will pull the line on both sides. Now you will see a dimension there, a little millimeter dimension. That dimension indicates how long the line is just on the one side. So if you're about 20, it's gonna be 40 millimeters. Okay, let's move these over here. All right, there are quite a few other things. If you click on this little arrow, different kinds of lines that you can create, and I am going to not go in depth right now. I want to keep this very basic as I can, and give you the information that I know you're going to need to be able to do most any design work. Now, one thing that I will share with you, if you click on this, let's click on it again and say, I'll click left click. Come down to your command line. If you forget to right click and you want it on both sides, you can click both sides. And where do you want that center? That's where you're going to click, or you can press F4 and it automatically goes to the F4 spot, and then you can put both sides and it will just sit nice and right there. Now, if I wanted to, I could, I'm going to delete that, I could reactivate that command by pressing enter or right click, and come down here and press both sides. Let's do F4 again, and this time I want it to be straight or on an angle, perfectly angled on a 45 or a 90. So I could do this. I could reactivate it again by right clicking. I could come down here to both sides and see it's locked in there because I'm pressing shift, and whatever you are closest to, it will lock it in. All right, let's go down here again and press our line, start of line, so both sides, and I am going to click vertical, and I'm going to click on the end here. And what this does is if you come down into your front viewport, you can see it is a vertical line. See that right there in the perspective view? Now there's other ways. You don't have to get that fancy. You can just click line, and you can click here on the end of this, and you can go down into your front viewport and just click, and it automatically gives you a vertical line. So that particular little toggle that you can toggle on your vertical. I never use that. And I don't use it because I can just switch to a different viewport and get that the way I want it. Now I do use tangent, and that is going to give me a line that is perfectly tangent with my current line. I'm going to click on the end of that, and you'll see I can make it whatever length I want. I click, and it's still two separate lines. If I want them to be joined, I have to select them and come over here to my quick commands where it says join. And now it's all one line. So our default green color is coming in. I'm going to switch this over here in our layers, and I am going to come down here to the white, click on that, and I'm also going to select all of these. Once again, I'm going to come from the right, and as long as I just get enough of it, it will collect all of those. And I'm going to hit the triangle in front of the white, and now all of my curves will be white except for my two vertical curves. Let's make those red. There we go. All right, what next? Let's go ahead and click line again, and let's go down to extension. Select curve. I'm going to just drag that out. All right, and then I'll join that. And there we go. All right, next on the agenda is Polyline. We'll click on that. Polyline gives us a continuous line with different segments. So we can get really unusual shapes, but they're very angular. And so it's like a continuous shape, looks a lot like a rock. All right, and then when you're done with that, all of those segments are automatically joined. So let's just say we didn't actually join it. Let's go up here to Polyline again, and we'll just do that. But each segment is automatically joined. All right, let's go ahead and see what else is in here. I don't do any of these right now. I just use Polyline once in a while, and some of these require us to have surfaces on them, and so let's circle back to those when we go over the solids and the surfaces, because I think they're going to make more sense to you then. All right, smart curve. Here we go. Smart curve gives us a roundish curve, but it gives us a point. Now you can't hold shift to get it perfectly straight. I'm going to pull in a rectangle and show you something. So let's go back to smart curve. So I can actually use my rectangle to get a perfectly symmetrical curve using smart curve. So let's erase that, delete that, and go back to smart curve. I've clicked on smart curve, and I have my O snaps on. O snaps are on down here, and I click in that corner because it's considered an end. It will click to my O snaps, and that's pretty slick. So that's how I use smart curve. I don't know if anybody else uses it differently. I do know that like in some other design programs like Illustrator, I think they have smart curve. So like if you're trying to do a curve like that, sometimes it's easier for people to see what they're doing and get in the correct position if they have a guide that this smart curve allows them to have. I'm used to the freeform curve, so all right, let's do the freeform curve. I kind of skipped over that. Freeform curve is a curve that I use all of the time. So let's go ahead and capture all of your curves up here. If I go from the left, I have to get them all included, and if I go from the right, I can literally just get a portion of them. Now, if I want to select everything and I've only selected a part of it, but I want to add to it, I have to hold down Shift. Now, if I get everything selected and I decide I don't want to select one of these items, I hold down Control and it deselects it. There we go. And I'm going to put everything in a job bag and I'm going to delete it all. Okay. Freeform Curve. I use this all of the time, So that can give you a nice little S curve. And we can practice our quick commands by coming back to the control point if we want to adjust that. There we go. We can make some slight adjustments and delete that end one. And then to exit out of your control points, you just hit Escape. There you go. And now if we want to further use our quick commands, we could mirror that. And we know what happens when we mirror it. There you go. It's on history. Our history is on, which is really good. And there we go. The Polyline Freeform Curve, it actually takes a while to kind of get used to. Now, I'm struggling a little bit because I have my O snaps on. So when you do your Freeform Curve, you really want to have your O snaps off. You do not want it to grab. See, I'm not, it's not grabbing anywhere, which is nice. And you can get a much smoother curve. Just take your time. And remember, just go over here to your control points to adjust it. And that is something that I still do to this day. I still have to make little adjustments to it. I'm going to turn these two on a different layer color and turn it off. Okay. Now, as you're making adjustments, you can delete if you want to delete some of these, and it changes the configuration. All right, and then also another really practical thing, let's see, is a rebuild. So I type in a lot of commands because that would be, if you type in rebuild, you're going to get some options. There's GV rebuild, which is Gem Vision, or rebuild, which is Rhino. And I just do the regular Rhino. And then here tells me how many point counts there are. This will tell me how many I wanted to rebuild, and I'm going to say 12. And you get a preview. 12 seems to be pretty close. And yes, I do want to delete the input. You don't have to do that, but it's just confusing when you have two and you're not sure which one is your new one. Create new object on current layer. That's interesting. There you go. And we're going to select OK because it is previewing. There you go. So now we can come back to control points and see what that looks like. There you go. And if you want to do a little more practicing on your quick commands, come over here and select rotate and rotate that little guy. Here we go. Where does he want to go? And if you want to get a little fancier, you can click on rotate or right click to re-establish that you want to do that command again. Come down here to your command line and press yes when it says copy. And we're just going to rotate that. Looks like a little pinwheel. And then escape when you want to escape from that command. And so I've just taken that S curve and I've rotated it. And when it said copy down in the command line, I said yes. All right. What is next? Oh, look at all these. Freeform curve. So many different things that I have never needed. All right, I think we're going to be doing some more intermediate curve tutorials later. All right, we've done our smart curve. Let's do our rectangle. Okay, next is rectangle. And if I click on rectangle, it gives me a nice rectangle. If I right click on rectangle, it gives me a rounded rectangle, and you have a little toggle dots there in the corner. Very nice. That's very practical. If I click on rectangle, on the little triangle, there's different ways you can achieve your rectangle. Let's say you wanted a rectangle that starts in the center and works its way out, which, oh my gosh, that's very practical. Let's click on that one. Let's go F4. Look at that. And now that is completely centered on F4. That's great. All right. And this rectangle is just simply a rectangle where when you click, it shows you a dot, and then you click over in the opposite corner. Rectangle with 3 points. It's just like it says. We go point, point, and point. So if you have a specific size that you want to do your rectangle, let's put that up there. Let's go ahead and do that again. All right. And let's put our grid snaps on this time, down on the bottom. There we go. Grid snaps are on, and we have 3 points. So point, point, and point. So you can go point, point, point. That's very practical. All right, and then rectangle, vertical. Let's make sure we get into that. There we go. It wants to go in the vertical. And not really sure how to use that, folks. All right. I have never used that in my 12 years of designing, so I don't think we need that one for now. I'm making a list of all the things that I don't know how to use in Matrix Gold, and I promise I will get back to them at some point as soon as I know what I'm doing. I'm moving all of these things. Look at that. It's on history, so it went a little crazy. That's awesome. And there we go. We'll leave it that way. All right, let's go on to Polygon. Polygon by edge. All right. Let's just hit F4 and see what happens. There we go. So that one edge goes right on F4, and that's nice. It does, if I hit shift, it does do that nice and straight, which is great. All right, Polygon star. I've used this so many times. Now, if I do F4 on this one, it does, oh, there we go, good. I'm glad they fixed that. There we go. All right, let's do that again. I'm going to come up here to Polygon and hit Polygon star. I'm going to hit F4 because I want it right in the center, and I hit shift and hold shift down, and I make my star however I want. If I want that to be straight, it will click right there. Sometimes you want a little bit of more of a crafty star, and there we go. Okay, one more thing I want to do with the star is, there we go, Polygon star. I want to just hit it over here. Let's click over here, and let's take a look down here in our command line. How many sides do we want our star? Well, 5 is kind of normal. Let's just do 9 and see what happens. All right. There we go. So we can do kind of like, you know, a badge. I could see that on a medal of honor or a trophy. So that could be handy, could be useful. All right, I'm just getting those out of the way. Next, let's go ahead and put all of these in another job bag, and we can bring them back out if we want them. Let's go on to circle. All right, F4, we can make it as big as we want to. Every little square is 1 millimeter. So this circle right here is 10. When you see that it says 5, it's just coming out from F4 to the one side. And so you have to double that. But you can also count your little squares. So that's 2 millimeters, 4, 6, 8, 10. Every line, these like really light lines, that's 5, 5, 5, and 5. So you just come out here if you want a 10 millimeter line circle, sorry. All right, let's go back up here and see circle with 2 points. So you click where you want the first point and you click where you want the second point. Now, I don't have a lot of design out here right now, but if you really wanted it specifically to go between 2 items, you could click on the one side, come over here and click on the other, and be assured that it's gonna connect. All right, let's see what else we've got. So we have a circle, circle with 2 points, circle with 3 points. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Circle tangent. Ew. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, I like that. Okay. How many circles are we going to get? There we go. Obviously, I have never used this before. Okay. Maybe useful. All right, let's see what else we got. Circle fit points. Not sure what that is. So we are going to pass that over. Arc. Arc is next. Arc is just like it sounds. So I went ahead and right clicked to activate the arc menu again. I'm going to click F4, come out, and then it just circles back. It'll go all the way around and make a circle if you want it to, or almost a circle. Looks like it clicks off. So if I clicked on shift, it will go ahead and snap to it. There you go. So if you just want a quarter of a circle, you can do that way. Arc direction. That's nice. Yeah, I would use that a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring a line out here. And we're going to go ahead and practice our duplicating. Go ahead, quick commands, duplicate. There we go. And I'm going to delete these. We're going to do an arc direction. So if I don't have my O snaps on, I'm going to turn my grid snaps off. And I don't have my O snaps on, but if I press Alt, it activates my O snaps. So I press Alt when I get close, and then I hold it with Shift, and look at that. It's perfect. And then you can join those together if you so desire. Very good. All right, arc tangent to curves. There we go. Nice. So if you want to make like a curly a curve similar to an S curve. All right, so let's go ahead and take both of these, come over here to trim, select this one to delete it, and now you have these two curves that are tangent, and we can join those. There we go. Now it just looks like a big question mark. Here we go. Let's just, yeah, move that right here. And this looks like a doghouse entrance. All right. Let's move on to ellipse. Ellipse is an oval. So what you do is you click, click. So the first click is in the middle, and the second click is on the outside, and the third click, you can shift it just by moving your mouse. There you go. And if we right click from the ellipse, it will, let's do F4. There you go. It will just put us right there where we want to be. Let's go ahead and see there. I'm going to do that again. So you can actually place it, like if you want that center of the ellipse to be right there, connected to the end of this one, that's why you would use that. Ellipse around a curve, ellipse vertical, ellipse from corner. There's quite a few. That's the only ones I'm going to go over right now. All right, so we're going to stop at ellipse, and we are going to go over, let's see, we've got, how much do we have left? We may be able to get the curves done in one more, but I'm not really sure because I want to make sure it's as detailed as you need to be confident in doing your designs. Now, there's a lot of things I skipped over today, but honestly, there's things that in 12 years I've never had to use. Some of those things might be new to Matrix Gold, which, as I've said before, I'm a new user of Matrix Gold. But as I learn the program, I will also share with you the things that I've learned. So I want to thank everybody for listening and watching today, and you're welcome.